of Melbourne is really in the very early stages of the shared services transformation. We adopted what we called a move then improve strategy, so essentially moving the people into new roles, shedding a number of 500 roles in fact, and now we're moving into the improve phase. So we've really been through what we would say is the business continuity phase, really trying to make sure that as we go into the transition we're actually maintaining business continuity and we're not falling over at the first hurdle, but it is still very early days. The university went through over 18 months of review and analysis using Strategy and now Strategy and PwC to help us think through what's the best way for the university to meet the challenges that it's facing at the moment in terms of increased competition and really trying to make the organisation more agile so it can respond to international pressure and reduce funding. And so shared services was one part of that strategy. There are other elements to the strategy, particularly the creation of a core group focusing on strategy and policy and really separating out strategy from operations and leaving the operations to get on with the service delivery. So there was a university-wide program of consultation and analysis, benchmarking to arrive at the structure and the resource levels and ultimately the new Melbourne operating model. So having come to the SSON conference in 2014, 1 year ago, which was actually my first week in the job, thank you very much to SSON. One of the things I learnt from that conference was that you don't want to fall over at the first hurdle. If you don't get a pay run, if you don't pay your bills, if you don't get your customers through the door, you can really turn people off the journey. So we focused our phase one, as we called it, on business continuity and said that is our primary goal. The goal wasn't implementing shared services, the goal was actually achieving business continuity while implementing shared services. So one of the main strategies was really sitting down with our customers and working out what their business cycle was and what were the things that were most important to them in the first 4 months, and ensured that we were actually very clear about achieving those goals for them, and we had strategies around each of those. So as I said, paying bills, paying people, moving people into the right roles, enrolling students and submitting our research grants were the 5 key goals, and so everything we did was in the context of that. So the journey really for me has been 1 year, but for University Services, which is the shared services group, it's only been operating since February 2nd, so it's not even 90 days of actual operation. During the transition we lost a lot of corporate memory from the organisation. We had an approach to filling the roles that was allowing staff to kind of not choose where they wanted to go, but apply for roles rather than management saying you will do this or that, knowing that the risk was we might lose some key people. So we've lost some corporate memory. We've also, as a result, possibly lost some of our understanding of our core systems as well, which we need to make sure that we get back. Interestingly, we implemented this during the peak of the university's calendar. In the first 3 months of the year is really the busiest time of year because we're enrolling students, the university is starting up. And so what we perhaps hadn't taken into account was the university is growing as well. So we designed a level of resourcing for last year, but this year, particularly in some of our business lines, have grown dramatically. And so we've been really scrambling whilst trying to fill roles, actually really staff up for those business needs. But we got there. One of the interesting things about doing the move then improve strategy is that during the move phase it can be very stressful because people have left and the remaining people are doing multiple roles and we're not quite ready for the new business processes yet. So there's a certain level of stress there in people as well, which you've got to be really careful that you don't burn people out. On the other hand, by doing that first, it's kind of like ripping the Band-Aid off. No parent ever wants to really rip the Band-Aid off their child, but it's actually better than taking it off, peeling it off bit by bit. And it does mean that those people who are now in roles are very, very motivated to go to the next phase of improving the place. So it has, it has some benefits and some problems as well. Over the next 6 months we get to do the exciting stuff. We're in the improve phase, so this is where the benefits should really start to flow. We have 8 major initiatives across the university, 3 around students, improving student services, 3 around improving research support, and 2 specific ones around improving staff services. And so we have kicked off a major process improvement round. We're using lean process improvement and also agile project management to try and really build the capability in the organisation. And the idea is that by December we will have taken the work of 500 people out of the organisation, because by December 500 people will have gone from the organisation, so we really do need to do that. And then the aim is that we will have built a capability for us to then continuously improve from then on. So we're kind of in the exciting bit, really.